Good evening, all. It's Arlene J. Ramsey, which the name of my show, as you all have known, I've made the change. The name of my show is called Everyone Let's Talk. Today, we're going to discuss deed theft and when your home escrow has increased enormously. Thank you all for joining this evening's show. Now let's get into it. First, I want to start with the escrow account and how your mortgage can go from nearly $4,500 to nearly $10,000 a month. So now, on a mortgage increase, when you have a mortgage, your lender collects the money into an escrow account. That account covers property taxes and homeowners insurance. When property taxes increases dramatically, which is normally due to home value increase, inflation, or increased funding needs for schools and local services, your escrow account will be in default or a deficit. Hence, your lender must recalculate your payments, which will be at a higher rate. So before I get into this, last week I saw a gentleman on this was on Instagram. His mortgage account was a little under $4,500 a month, and it increased to over $9,000 a month. You might as well say $10,000 a month. And it's like the man cannot continue to live in that home anymore because he cannot afford $10,000 a month. Well, this is what happens when you have a increase in your account. Your escrow account has been recalculated, which is due to the things that I have the reasons that I have listed previously. All right. So some of the things that we can do to help us prevent this type of increase is sign up for a homestead account, a homeowner's homestead account, or homestead property tax credit, right? This also means that the homeowner must list this house as their primary residence. This home cannot be listed as a home that you are benefiting financially from. This has to be listed as your primary place of residency. In New Jersey, there is the Anchor program that helps with this type of to prevent your home, your escrow account from going into a deficit and default, and prevent you from your home from, or your a mortgage rate from increasing dramatically. We're talking about double the amount. So if you were paying, because this gentleman, his mortgage increased over $5,000, right? So this type of increase is pushing people out of their homes. And again, the people that seems to be getting pushed out of their homes are those of us who are indigenous and other black and brown people, right? Because oftentimes there are programs that exist and we don't realize or know what these programs are. The other thing I've learned is to make sure that you have your home and assessed. Before you buy a home, make sure that area is assessed, and for things such as increased home value, what's coming into the neighborhood, what could potentially increase the value of your home, which can increase your mortgages. Things such as that, being proactive, will help in this case, okay? So with the homestead property tax credit, New Jersey has the Anchor program. How this program helps homeowners: it reduces tax liability. Eligible homeowners receive a credit that lowers their total property tax obligation. Number 2, targeted relief. It specifically targets primary residences, providing relief for those who live in their homes, not rental or vacation properties. Number 3, income-based qualifications. The program helps residents based on income limits. Recent iterations, such as Anchor, have expanded eligibility, often providing hundreds of dollars in benefits. Easy application, and they provide the link to where homeowners can actually apply for this program. Any one of you who would like for me to send you this information so that you can apply, please let me know. Ask for. Let me know. I'll give you my number, and you can text me yours, and I will send that information over. Or you can send me an email, and I will email the information over. Okay. So key aspects of the New Jersey property tax relief. The Anchor program replaced the old homestead benefit, offering relief to both homeowners and renters. So I'm not sure if any of you are getting the Anchor checks every year, and that's one way we can get relief from these high increases on our taxes. Then another way that we are getting relief is through property tax reimbursement freeze, a separate program that reimburses eligible seniors and disabled residents for property tax increases. And then eligibility generally requires a New Jersey resident owning a primary home and meeting annual income thresholds. Again, when you go on the website, they will provide what the annual income thresholds are. Okay, for the state of New York, New York has a relief program which is called the Property Tax and Interest Deferral PT Aid Program. Right? There is a STAR program, which is the School Tax Relief Program. New York also has the Senior Citizen Homeowners Exemption Program. They have the Disabled Homeowners Exemption Program. They have a Property Tax and Interest Deferral PT Aid. They also have a co-op and condominium abatement. Also have an NYC resident property tax credit. This is for the state of New York. So for New York, the key aspects of homestead tax relief. So the definition of this is a homestead is a primary residence. The exemption shields a portion of its value from property taxes. Types of savings. Exemption, which deducts a flat amount or percentage from the assessed value, reducing the taxable base. For example, Georgia allows a 1% exemption in some areas, while New York's STAR program exempts up to $30,000 of school taxes. The credit. Credit directly reduces the total tax bill amount owed. Arkansas provides a $500 annual credit. What I like about doing research on different topics is that the internet, AI, whatever the tool is, will also provide information for the different states. In other words, there's a homestead or a property tax relief program that exists across all states throughout this nation that we can sign up for and see how we can have ourselves protected and covered from such high tax increase. After the taxes have been increased, you may have to, there may be a challenge to have that recalibrated and sign up for programs to have, your taxes deducted. In the meantime, you will be paying the high tax increase, and who knows if we can afford it, right? Just like the gentleman that I use it as an example, his taxes or his mortgage literally went up over $5,400. So it was bringing him to nearly $10,000 for a mortgage payment. That is squeezing people out of their homes. Does anyone have any questions in regards to escrow accounts and high tax increases before I go on to talk about deed theft? Okay, let me read a few examples of state programs. So for the state of Florida, Florida provides a generous exemption applying to 160 acres outside a municipality or 1/2 acre inside. Texas implements a $25,000 exemption for school district taxes with extra exemptions for seniors 65 and older and disabled individuals. New Jersey offers the Stay New Jersey program, which for qualifying homeowners 65 and older offers to reimburse 50% of their property tax bill. Okay? New York, the school tax relief, which is the STAR program, reduces school taxes. The state of Maine exempts the first $25,000 of a primary residence from taxes. Again, there are resources and programs out here. For the state of Maryland, Maryland has the Maryland Homestead Property Tax Credit. Okay, let me go down this list and see. That's about it for, the state of Philadelphia. Philadelphia has the Philadelphia Legal Assistance Guide. Let me see what other states are up here before I go on. For Philadelphia specifics, right, they have the City of Philadelphia's online portal, which is here. They have the Pennsylvania. Okay, so the Pennsylvania Homestead Exclusion Act. That's for the state of Pennsylvania. It's a 50/Act 1. This reduces the assessed value of a primary residence to lower school district property taxes, with savings typically ranging from hundreds to over 1,000 annually. Eligible homeowners must apply to their county assessor, and in Philadelphia, the exemption reduces taxable assessment by up to $45,000. Philadelphia residents can check their status using, so Philadelphia has a different portal to check their status from the state of Pennsylvania, although they're within the state of Pennsylvania. So key aspects of their property tax. So the reason why I'm reading this is the great thing with this podcast, Grown Folk Talking, and the great thing about Forrest is Forrest casts a wide net, and he has his octopus tentacles reaching out to people in different states, right? So we have people that call into this line who host shows that live in Pennsylvania or that lives out in I think it's Georgia. We have people that are a part of this family that is outside of the tri-state area of New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. So this, hence why I am casting a wide net myself, providing information for people that are outside of the state of the tri-state area from where I am. And in hopes that if you're out there and you're within these states and you hear this, you understand that there are resources and programs out there for you to take advantage of and get on top of your paperwork so that, you don't fall victim to these tax increases. Because, again, the people that seems to be affected by this the most is us, indigenous, black and brown people. Right, and so we've worked hard for the homes that we bought for those of us who have homes. I don't have one yet, but I will have one, right? And so when you get squeezed out of a home, what is your next option, right? So we don't want that to happen. All right, does anyone have any questions before I go on to deed theft? Okay. Let me go on to deed theft.
Yes, ma'am.
You have a question? Okay, go ahead.
You shared a wealth of information. I'm fully aware of everything you were saying for the beginning.
Okay.
Yes, about all this information that you're sharing. And I did do the income program. And I'm
Awesome.
aware of, yes, I'm aware of all this. Um, are you can you see everybody's number on?
Yes. Yes.
So can you see my number?
Uh,
Well,
so
you
you're
know
the
what?
phone number oscillating?
I'm calling from my landline. You know, I should switch to my, yes.
Oh, that's your landline. Okay, yes, I do see your number.
Okay, you can give me a call so you can take down my information instead of me, because I don't want to give it over the telephone.
Sure. So let me screenshot this right now. Okay, and what's your name?
Latoya?
Okay, I will do that when we're done. So are you pleased with the programs that you signed up with?
Well, I only did the Inca check, but I'm aware of everything that you practically saying that I don't know everybody else is aware of about the program.
Okay.
I know about it. I don't think anybody else do, but so far you have my undivided attention.
Okay.
You're getting a wealth of information, so I'm listening.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah,
And
go ahead.
okay. Does anybody else have any questions before I go on to discuss deed theft? And is there anything that you need me to go over in regards to the escrow tax increase for on homeowners? Okay. So let me go on
Yeah, I got
to.
a question.
Okay, go ahead.
How you doing?
I'm doing
So
well.
if you own your house, there's no escrow, correct? If you're just buying a house now and you plan to pay it off in less than a year, or whatever.
Well, no, there is, because what's happening is I don't know how they're doing this, and I don't know if to say that this is illegal, right? So what's happening is people's their escrow account is getting recalibrated because for some reason property values are going up, whether it's inflation, whether it's like here in Newark, we're getting, what is it, Lionsgate is moving to this, to our city. That may cause property taxes to go up. So if you own a home, depending on what's going on in your neighborhood, can cause your property taxes and your property value to go up, right? Whether there's school taxes, school needs, right? So let me go over what that is, right? When you have a mortgage, your lender collects the money into an escrow account. That account covers the property taxes and homeowners insurance. When the property taxes increase dramatically, which is normally due to home value increase, inflation, or increased funding needs for schools and local services, your escrow account will become in a deficit or a default. Hence, your lender must recalculate your payments, which will be at a higher rate. So let's say you do own your home. So you don't have to pay the mortgage anymore, but you still have to pay the taxes, right? So the
Right.
taxes will increase. But for people who are still paying a mortgage, like I seen a brother, his mortgage was under $4,500. When his escrow account got recalibrated, it went up to nearly $10,000. So his increase was over $5,400. That's $10,000 a month. He is not going to be able to pay that, right? So, that's how people are getting squeezed out of their homes. Now, let's say you own the home and you're on a fixed income, you're 65 plus, or you're disabled. If you have a tax increase, will you be able to pay that? Because now we all know that if you don't pay your taxes, you can still lose your house, even though the mortgage is paid off. I find that, something needs to be done about that. Whereas, once you pay the house off, why are we still held accountable to taxes in a way that if you don't pay the taxes, you can still lose that house? pardon me because I'm outside. I didn't make it home in time, so I'm having the show in my car, right?
Okay.
So,
I appreciate the information, but I really feel that we original people need to claim our nationality as ancient indigenous people so that it take us out that system.
yes.
Cherokee, Blackfoot, Choctaw, whatever, because they ain't got nothing to do with the United States and their thuggery, because that's all it is.
That's what it, okay, what's your name again?
Edward.
Edward. Okay, thank you, Edward. I have to get with you in regards to that because I do listen to your shows, and I have so many things that I'm doing, but this is on my list of things to do because I agree with you. How do we go buck against a system that's doing that? You know what I mean? It's like you're at their mercy. Right? And then when they tell us these things, that this is how the property taxes will increase, but we don't know what's going on with white people or Caucasian people. We don't know if, they're telling everybody, they're giving everybody a blanket reasoning, but we don't know what's going on in everybody's household. We only know what's happening to us. But I refuse to believe that they're getting squeezed out of their homes like that. Right? Like that's not happening. Right. So,
if I may say, another thing that one could do is create an entity, a LLC, a C corp, or even a 508 or a 501, and sell your property to that entity, and that way, regardless of what you got to pay, you write it off on your taxes, so you get that money back. So there's
Okay. So this is like having like a trust account?
A trust or an LLC, exactly. You could sell your property to a commercial entity also, yes.
Okay.
Because really that's what they're attacking people as, commercial entities, because just like what you're saying, there's a lot to it. Every now and then there's somebody that shares information on it. But these are the reasons why, and the main reason why things are the way they are, because we haven't honored our mothers and fathers and claimed our ancestry. They're telling us we're African American. They're telling us we're minorities. But no, we're the majority. It's their duty that they're public servants to us.
Right.
And it's just that simple, But I definitely want to hear this, what you're talking about this stuff, because I've kind of been hearing about it. And, then people, I don't want to start no drama, but there's individuals that's been infiltrating this country for the last 3 or 4 years because something's going on somewhere else. And they're over here and they're bragging about the government is paying for their house, paying for their car, and they got like 9 or 15 children. And, they get food stamps and everything. And nothing is coming out of their pockets because they know how to do paperwork.
Right. I seen the other day someone said, I think this is a political person I've seen on social media, where I can't remember the number, but they found a number of people who collect SNAP benefits, but they all have high-end cars, not regular BMW. We're talking about Lamborghinis and that's not us.
Wow, that's definitely not us,
right? And so this sense of entitlement that they have, and they always get the maximum dollar when it comes to SNAP benefits, and they do a lot of movements with money in cash. So you don't know how much money they're moving around. A lot of what they do is sacrilegious.
Of course it is. Look at Puffy. Puffy was in the bed with them. Look, they still talking about the Epstein files. Yeah, right. Exactly.
And why is it always them? This is a thing. Let me, that's another topic that we. But I just want to touch on the more, when we get up in age and we see a lot of what's going on in the world, you have to scratch your head and say something. It's not what they've been telling us, right? So now I'm saying this to say, yeah, we know that they're racist and all these things, but the Jewish community, the way they do things, and this sense of entitlement that they have, where they think that the wealth, they're deserving of the wealth, they're deserving of all the properties and these types of things. This is not happening with the other Anglo-Saxon white man, though. This is happening primarily with the Jewish.
So now
And
you know who's really pulling the strings now, don't you?
exactly. And then it leads me to believe that with the Epstein files, Epstein, he's Jewish. These things that you're doing. And then let's go back in history. Wasn't it, who was it, Germany or Russia, that when they went to war and pretty much put the Jews in their place? Because at one point they was going to take over the world. But it's not the thing about taking over the world. It's what they do. It's the things that they do that is demonic.
There was a brother out of Detroit. His name was Irritated. Well, I forgot what his real name is, but his handle was Irritated Genie. And he made a video on the large hats and the small hats. And he talked about the difference. Hitler was an illegitimate child of the banksters.
Mm-hmm.
And you know who the banksters are, right? The bankster family?
No.
Does anybody know the bankster family?
I don't. So I'm writing it down because I know.
Rothschilds. Remember the father, when his sons got older, he said, go out through the world and create your own banks.
Right.
So Hitler is an illegitimate child of the old man.
Okay.
Hitler was sanctioned to do what he did, but his agenda was to knock off the Zionists. They sanctioned him because they wanted the world to be sympathetic towards them. And that's another reason why, if Hitler's supposed to be such a bad person against them, and they own the TV, they own the airwaves, basically, the music. They took over hip-hop. That's why it's called rap now. And when that music first came out, it was called hip-hop.
Right.
People were talking about, what was going on in their community and neighborhoods.
Right.
And then they turned it into thuggery, because that's their thing. It's either you're going to be a thug or you're going to be a faggot. You only got one or two choices.
And none of them are good. What about the borough wars in New York? So I've learned, or someone told me, that the borough wars were started by the Jews, which will, put out the rumors, oh, so-and-so from the Bronx said so-and-so from the Brooklyn is X, Y, and Z, and whoever from here. So the borough wars, that's through the grapevine. I don't know how true it is, but it makes sense, because at the time when there were those wars with these boroughs, why? But when they did that, was to get people fighting and creating issues, burning things up, so they can come in and take properties.
Exactly.
So
exactly. And shortly after those things, who was the mayor in New York, the 5 boroughs? Who was the mayor before Koch? Even though I know you're not old enough.
Not Giuliani. Koch, no, I don't know, because I was a kid.
Yeah, that's way before most of us, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if, what's
Giuliani.
her name? Joyce. Yeah, Giuliani, but Koch was before Giuliani. When Giuliani retired, and I think he served about like 5 terms or something. I mean, not Giuliani, Koch.
Yeah,
I think he served like 5 terms, but my point is, when he retired, he's the one who sold every abandoned building in the 5 boroughs for $1. And his boys bought a great deal of them. And, of course, just like the Zionists do, they got that strategy. They map things out for the next 10, 15, 20 years. Because you look at Hitler was in the 40s, right?
Yeah.
And they were planning to basically subdue America. United States got von Braun and all of those high-tech people from Germany. It's just, that's why research is so important. But let's let that go for now so you could get into your platform And because that theft is, I'm sure that theft is they're basically the same ones that's doing that too. Because
Yes.
I saw a
Yes.
video.
Oh, yes. They are, in fact, behind deed theft. So I saw it. Well, before I get into that video, right? Because I talked about it last week, and I can't remember. Maybe Joyce. So why I'm running this program again today is she asked that I record this program because she wanted to have access to it, and I forgot to record. And so I said I'm going to run this back again this week. But anyway, the story I talked about last week, I learned some more for this week's show. So let me go on to what deed theft is. Deed theft is a fraudulent scheme where criminals steal ownership of a home, often without the owner's knowledge, by forging signatures, falsifying records, or tricking homeowners into signing over their property. It is an increasing issue, with complaints tripling in recent years. That commonly targets seniors and people of color, often resulting in unlawful eviction and loss of property. So the process of deed theft. Scammers record fraudulent documents such as quitclaim deeds with the local county clerk or city registrar to transfer title to themselves or a shell corporation. Common tactics: forging signatures, using fake notary stamps, or misrepresenting documents as assistance for foreclosure or mortgage refinancing. The impact of this: perpetrators often sell the property to unsuspecting third parties, take out large loans against the property, or rent it out, while leaving the original homeowner with no title and potential eviction. Usage examples and scenarios. How this happens. Distressed homeowners scam. A scammer offers to help a homeowner in foreclosure or behind on taxes, convincing them to sign documents they believe will save their home but actually transfer a home ownership. Identity theft. A criminal steals the identity of a homeowner, uses fake ID to sign a deed over to themselves and sell the house. Hair fraud. A criminal tricks a deceased homeowner's relative into signing over their stake in a property, often in areas undergoing gentrification. Vacant property takeover. Scammers target empty homes, vacation properties, or homes of deceased individuals, filing fake deeds to take over the property. So now, before I get into how we can protect ourselves from deed theft, the story I talked about last week, where I think it was the mayor or a council person got arrested. The man was the woman's grandfather. She got arrested. They came to evict her out of the home and tried to change the locks. So what I've learned is this brownstone is owned by, I think it's Mr. Charrington is the man's name. They owned this brownstone for 60 years. It is a 4-story brownstone, and it is the brownstone that the Cosbys used to film at. He has owned this brownstone for 60 years. Apparently, someone filed a claim with the Georgia court saying that he's too old to take care of himself. The court did not notify his family, and they assigned him a conservatorship to a conservator. That put him in a conservatorship. That gave the conservator all dominion over this man's property, paperwork, and everything. Then they sold the property to a third-party business owner, which were 2 Jewish brothers. They're called the Ambalo brothers. And then they sold the property. So now the daughter found this out. Now here's the other thing that they did that we learned. This black man had his paperwork in order. He had a living will. So that house was to be, his and her children, her grandchildren was living at the house with him. So although she wasn't living with him, she was in another state, they had younger family members living in that house with him. So he wasn't by himself, although he's the owner of that property. He had a living will and a person's name in that will on who that house was to go to. They took that house right up under, even bypassed the living will and everything, to put that man into a conservatorship. And so now this daughter left from Georgia, and when she finds out, that's why they're protesting. And then they got her arrested. And you know what judge arrested her? The first Hasidic Jew, female judge, which is a Hasidic Jew. Arrested her and put her behind bars while they continued on with keeping this man in a conservatorship and disregarding this will that he has had, with these lies on how they judged up the paperwork. I mean, you cannot make this up. This is why they were protesting the way they were protesting out there in Bedford Stuyvesant, Brooklyn. But this is not the first scenario or the first case of this, because I think it was last year or so, and again, this is another black family, where the brother talked about this brownstone being taken from an elder that's in his family, and they weren't able to get that home back. And now that brownstone is like a community. It's not a museum, but it's something for the community. So they're taking properties that are owned by indigenous people and doing whatever they want to do with it. And by the time that happens, because remember what they did, right? When the Irish broke away and got their respect, they all went into like law enforcement or the fire department. The Jews, most of them went into they were lawyers or insurance agents, right?
And doctors.
And doctors. There we go. So all of these people went into their niche, right? The Italians, they kept their family restaurants and things like that. They all had a niche, which all of them went into and continues to dominate. And why it's important that I said that is the Jews handled a lot of the paperwork. So when they do things like this, they have a friend that's an attorney that's going to judge the paperwork, right? They have insurance agents. They have people in positions to find out who owns the house, what's on this house, and how they can get this house up under you. You disrespected a living will, and this house has been in this family for 60 years. For 60 years. And we can sit here and say it's not integral and all of these things. But this is why I said the things that I said about them prior to going on to deed theft. Because the Jewish, when they're going through things and being called out, they like to say that people are anti-Semitic. That's another thing. How are you calling somebody anti-Semitic for holding you accountable? Anti-Semitic means that you're anti everything that's associated with Jew. Holding somebody accountable for deed theft or what they're doing down there in the entertainment industry is not anti-Semitic. It is anti-sacrilegion. It's anti-lack of integrity. That's what that is. It's actually accountability, right? They find ways to argue points where they can scurry around accountability. And I'm sick and tired of them doing that. That's the first thing they yell out, is that you're anti-Semitic. And once people hear that, it's like the whole world is crumbling down. Oh, God, you're anti. No, I had to look that up a couple of years ago. How are you anti-Semitic? Because you're holding somebody accountable. And I want to know, why are you calling yourself a religion? You're calling yourself a religion. No, you are Caucasian people. You are Eastern European people, and you're calling yourself a religion. So I mean, we can get into that, but anyway. So some takeaways for deed theft protection. What covers deed theft? An owner's title insurance policy. Please, if you have a home, go get an owner's title insurance policy. This is not something that you pay every month. This is something you pay one time, or maybe it's annually, right? Excuse me, but you pay it and you have the title insurance policy. This specifically enhanced or enhanced or homeowner policies often covers forgery and fraud occurring after purchase. What does not? Homeowners insurance, which covers perils like fire or theft of belongings. So homeowners insurance does not cover or protect you from deed theft, but the homeowner's title insurance will. Another thing that will protect homeowners with their title is the title lock service. These companies like Home Title Lock offer monitoring to detect fraud, but generally do not provide insurance that prevents the deed from being changed, as noted in the Federal Trade Commission's Consumer Alert. But however, it's not going to prevent the deed from being changed, but what's going to happen is you're going to be alerted right away when something's going on with this deed, right? And so that's going to put you at an advantage to look into what's going on, opposed to what's happening now. People are not knowing that their homes are being taken from them until there's a knock on the door telling them they have to leave this house. So now that's basically too late, because there's like 2 and 3 transactions that has happened before somebody knocked on your door. When they sell that house to a third party, the third party make their money off of it and then sell it to someone else. When they sell it to that next person, that's when you're getting a knock on the door saying that you don't belong in this house. And then they're going to have paperwork saying that they sent you a notice about 60 days ago and you're still here. So you're getting hit with all of this with a tsunami. You don't know where to start. And then it's like, okay, you're going out on the street. Right? So what they also recommend is to check your property records. Right? So regularly check your local county records office for unauthorized filings. Again, purchase owner's title insurance. When buying a home, consider an enhanced American Land Title Association policy that specifically covers forgery. So I'm going to read that again. When buying a home, or if you already have a home, consider an enhanced American Land Title Association policy that specifically covers forgery. If fraud occurs, contact local law enforcement, the county recorder. They specifically says the county recorder, not your city recorder, and I'm not sure why. I have to look into that. But it's important that we remember also contacting our county office and our county recorder. Make nice with the people in the county office. Make sure it's okay. And I said this last week, and I have to say it again. I know this is extra work, but you know what? Our lives depend on it, and our homes are our investments. So every 3 months or every 6 months, check with your county office, see what's going on, and make sure you purchase those title insurance policy and the title lock policy. The title lock policy will act like, you see, when there's a fraud or miscellaneous charge on the card, and the bank locks your card, and you get a text message and an email saying Citizens Bank fraud alert. Did you make this purchase? It may act something like that. It gives you the opportunity to see what's going on with your property, and if not, you could go right on ahead the next day, or if it's early today when you get this notification, that you can get acting on it right away. And this will protect us from deed theft, and the previous information that I provided will protect us from getting squeezed out of our homes for escrow recalibration. Any questions?
Arlene.
Yes.
Yes. The people that had the house for 60 years, where are they at now?
Yeah, so he's in a conservatorship. So the man, I forgot how old he is, but he's elder. And, they put out fraudulent information that he's too old to take care of himself, and they signed him from a conservatorship. When his granddaughter or was it his daughter? I think it's his daughter. When she went to get him, they arrested her for like kidnapping her freaking father. Pardon my French. They arrested her for that. That's why she was arrested. And a Hasidic Jew judge, a female Hasidic Jew judge, is the person that had her arrested. But this man has a living will. So this situation is on. What I'm going to do is continue to follow up with this situation, and I will have another show on it, giving an update. But this is not over. It's ongoing. The man is still in that conservatorship. The daughter has been released, but there's many things that's going on here. You got to get him out of that conservatorship, and you got to get the house. When they do things, it's like it's an attack where you being attacked from different angles. So, unless you got a whole team of generals that you can bring to the table and each person handle each thing that you're being attacked with, you're losing time when you focus on one, right? And what she's doing is hard. She has to focus on getting him out of that conservatorship and getting that property back. That's a lot. But as of now, he's still in a conservatorship. And, I thought, so it was important for me to bring this up again, because I thought the man didn't, most of us don't have wills and things like that. This man has a will. He has a living and active will. And, he has his people in place on the will. And so they didn't respect that. That's why they went the conservatorship route. This is the first time I'm hearing that. In other cases where there were deed thefts, they didn't put nobody in conservatorship. What they did was came and knocked at your door and told you got to leave this house. You're a squatter. You've been told to leave, and this home belongs to someone else, right? And so when that happens, actually there's no deed in place. I mean, there's no living will in place. This man has a will. And so because he has a will, that's why they went that conservatorship route. Any other questions? Fars? Or his phone probably went blank.
Excuse me, can you give me the name of the ones you said we should have as a homeowner? What is the
Sure.
name of the? Okay.
Okay, it's you ready?
Yes.
Okay, it is owner's title insurance policy.
Okay.
And then get a title lock service.
A title lock service?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so now what this has, what Google has recommended is the American Land Title Association policy. So this may be the best type of policy to get, but do your due diligence on all, right? So it is called the American Land Title Association policy that specifically covers forgery. Specifically covers forgery.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anybody else has any questions?
Yeah, about the information.
Yes.
No, I said yeah about the information.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. That information right there is very good that you just gave, but all that's recorded, so you have my telephone number, so we'll definitely catch up and talk.
Absolutely. I'm going to call you once I get home. I pulled over. But once I get home, about 30 minutes ago, I'll definitely give you a call.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Right, so down here it says preventing deed theft in the United States involves monitoring property records, securing personal information, and acting quickly if fraud is suspected. Key actions include signing up for free county recorder alerts, reviewing property records annually, and considering title insurance, which is what I just talked about earlier regarding the title insurance. But common targets include vacant homes, rentals, or properties without mortgages. Because I'm quite sure that brownstone was fully paid off, And so, again, ensuring that you sign up for your county recorder alerts is important. And, they'll send you emails, whether it's daily, weekly, I'm not sure. But it's getting to the point where we can't leave no stone unturned with what's going on here, right? Yeah, it's just ridiculous. And again, this provides information for property fraud alert and so on for various states. So again, throughout this nation, there are different resources that will help homeowners protect homeowners from deed theft, right? And so again, this information exists, but they don't freely give this information. So many people don't know that this is something that they can take advantage of that can protect them and keep that home in the family. Because again, this man has had this brownstone for 60 years, and he has someone that he is leaving that brownstone to. How is this family going to get this home back with all of these sales that they have done? And this brownstone was fully paid off already. He wasn't back on taxes or anything like that. That's why they went the route. Because when you're backed up on taxes, someone can buy the lien to your home, and then they can get you out of your house. That has happened to many people. The house is paid off, so you don't have a mortgage. But if you don't pay those taxes, and someone checks down at that office, and there are people that will go down to the city office or call the city office to find out what homes are in default for paying taxes. And some people will literally pay those taxes. So when they pay the taxes, now they get the deed. The deed is in their hand, and they could come to you and tell you that that house now belongs to them, and you have to get out of the house. So it's unfortunate, but it is a real thing. Are any questions? Okay. If there's no questions, thank you all for joining the show. And someone just dinged in. Thank you all. Okay, and who is this?
This is Joyce. How are you?
Hi, Joyce. I'm doing well. And yourself?
I'm good. No need in complaining.
That's good. Well, today we went over deed theft and property escrow recalibration. So I went over explaining what both property, how people's mortgages increase dramatically and what they can do to protect themselves, and so what programs they can participate in or take advantage of that can prevent their properties taxes from increasing astronomically. And I also went over deed theft, what deed theft is, and what homeowners can do to protect themselves from deed theft. It was great information and imperative that I found it important to have this conversation. Again, I saw a family out in Bedford-Stuyvesant, an elder who has had a brownstone for 60 years. He has a living will. The house is paid off. He's not owing in back taxes. But those people went to the court and said that this person was old and doesn't have anybody to take care of them. and the court signed that man to a conservatorship and gave dominion of that man's property and everything to the conservatorship. And in that, that's how they assumed possession of the home, sold the home to a third party, which were Jewish brothers, and then they sold the house to someone else. And then they came to the family, evicting the family out of the home. The father is in a conservatorship. There's a living will. They're not respecting the will. And this is ongoing. So like I said previously, I will stay abreast of this situation and report back on it. And hopefully this family, they can get the father out of conservatorship because, this man, there were younger family members living in the house with him. So at no time is he by himself without anyone looking after him. But, when someone goes to the court and says that and they did no research, right? So this is a racket that they're doing. When they go to the court to do that, they already know that you're coming to take assets. It's a racket. So they're not going to double check to find out if this is a true thing. The racket calls for them to go ahead and place a conservatorship over that person and assume all resources and properties. But again, thank you all for joining the show. Next week, Thursday, I'm going to bring on Yolanda Spivey. She is our insurance expert. I have loads. I met her this past Sunday. She is licensed in, I think, 47 states. She offers business insurance, life insurance, you name it. I can't give too much away, but please tune in next Thursday, hear what she has to say. I need to get business insurance, and I was telling her I have Hiscox on my notebook. And so now that I've met her, there's no need for me to go through Hiscox. I will utilize her service to get business insurance. So again, you all tune in next Thursday at 7:15 p.m. Again, I am terrible. We have our brother that's coming on after me. My show ends at 8:15, which is in 1 minute. And Brother Forrest, are you here?
Yes, Bill Graves.
Bill Graves is on next. And after Bill Graves will be Brother Joe.
Baba Joe.
Baba Joe. Yes, Baba Joe comes on after Bill Graves.
All right, mute. She asked me.
Okay. Whatever.
Not whatever. The CEO's on. I can handle this. Unless you. Oh, wait a minute. That means Latoya want to ask you a question before you tune out, sister. Go ahead, Latoya.
No.
Oh, okay. Brother Forrest don't need no cheerleading over here. I know my schedule. Guess why? Because I'll put everybody up here. Thank you, sister. Thank you,
Brother
Latoya.
Forrest?
I appreciate it. Yes,
Brother
Sister
Forrest?
Chandra. Yes.
May I say something right quick?
Real quick, sis. Go ahead.
That young lady that was arrested, someone did a YouTube post on her about a week or two before they arrested her.
Okay.
Yes, there's several YouTube things that's going on in Brooklyn. Yeah.
Yes. What do you think about that?
I don't like it because I lived in a home in the Bronx where on the roof we had like a wooden hatch. And in some of those old brownstones, your next-door neighbor, they could just walk across the roof, open up that hatch, if you haven't had it secured, and gain access to your house. So that touched me. Yeah, wow. That touched me. Mm-hmm.
It did with me as well. Like I said, I'm going to report on it as well when I get updates because I would hope that they're able to get him out of that conservatorship and they can get that land.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. You all have a good night, and thank you for joining in.
Thank you now.
Okay.
Bye-bye.